Minasan konnichiwa! What a busy week! I'm actually really exhausted right now, but smiling because we could achieve so much. There is so much to talk in this weekly update that I prefer to show you a summary first this time. You can also use the timestamp in the description below to navigate the video, since we have a lot of topics today. Before I start, if you're new to the channel, my name is Davide and I talk about the situation of foreigners stranded outside Japan. Also, together with gogonihon.com and educationisnottourism.com, I work on several activities to remove the travel ban as soon as possible. If you would like to support our actions, I just ask you to like, share and comment this video. Also, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell to support my channel. Thank you very much. Let's start and let's see what we are going to talk about today. First, we will start talking about a meeting we had with the Chief Cabinet Secretary Kato and the following Prime Minister words about international students. Chief Cabinet Secretary Kato also had made a separate announcement about borders. We will talk about the NHK coverage of Joana's story, one of our students, and the Kogaku Shimbun article, which I have it here. We will give you an update on vaccination and corona cases, and we will talk about the end of state of emergency in Tokyo, quarantine time update, G7 meeting to discuss international travel reopen, Love is Not Tourism, Discord community, and a photo campaign we will start soon. It's a lot of things, as you can see. Let's start. In August, we had our second event, which was on Zoom and live YouTube as well, if you remember. The event was a huge success, especially thanks to all of you who have been sharing and participated to the event. Again, thank you so much. The event topics were how Japan was the only nation in the G7 to close the borders to students and how students can't wait longer, otherwise we'll have to cancel or change destination. The point we made in the event were taken by media like the Kogaku Shimbun, which I have here, which actually is talking here about the G7 exactly, and also NHK, and thanks to that, thanks for you to participate and sharing the event, making it so successful, and thanks to the event itself, we could literally reach millions of Japanese people that are now aware about the issue and know how serious it is. We didn't just stop there. We also made a 10-minute summary of August event, put Japanese subtitles, and then sent the video to over 500 politicians in the Japanese parliament. Many of them actually replied to us, and we could have Zoom meetings with more than a dozen of them. Thanks to the help of the 6th organization related to the Japanese language education institutions, is a group called Rokudantai, we could organize a meeting with some of the politicians supporting our cause, and we prepared a formal request to open the borders to students in October. We also met, I actually personally went there, with the Minister of Education to discuss exactly the same topics. Our request, our formal request, was handed over by the two members of the Japanese Diet, Nakagawa-san and Ase-san, together with the president of Nishinkyo, Sato-san, and other members of the 6th organization related to the Japanese language education institutions, like Morishita-san, to the Chief Secretary Officer, Kato. Kato-san didn't give us a clear date on when the borders will open, but he said that the government is moving to open the borders to students. Kato-san also, in a separate occasion, has declared the following. As vaccination progresses, we have decided to undertake a step-by-step review of the border measures based on the effectiveness of the vaccine and other factors. At present, new entry of foreigners from all countries and regions are suspended in principle, but in the future, while monitoring the situation of infection overseas, we will consider entry through control measures that combine behavior management and inspection. This is a very good statement for us and for all foreigners waiting to enter Japan, regardless of their purpose of entry. Just few hours after our meeting with Kato-san, Japan Prime Minister Suga had a conference where journalist Nishimura from Radio France asked, "International students have been stranded outside Japan for over 1.5 years. Everyone understands the need for border measures to prevent the spread of infection. But celebrities and many sport players have been able to enter Japan. Why foreign students are not allowed to enter Japan? When will foreign students be allowed to enter Japan?" That's what Nishimura-san asked. And the response from Japan Prime Minister Suga was, in principle, the new entry of international students into Japan is suspended at the moment. But we believe that accepting international students is important for improving the globalization education and research of universities and other institutions. At the same time, I would like to actively consider ways to ease the restrictions of international traffic. I would like to positively consider the entry of foreign students, considering the progress of vaccination in Japan and the status of infection in Japan and abroad. I will link this statement and the video from my Twitter account in the description. This is also a very good statement for students waiting to enter Japan. But since the Prime Minister has just changed, it's important that we follow up with our actions on this as soon as possible with the new Prime Minister Kishida. Another big achievement this week, it has been the publication of one article on the NHK news website and on a national TV show called Ohio Nippon. The article is called Sayonara Nippon Yume Mita Hitotachi no Kuno, which translated is Goodbye Japan, the agony of those who dreamed. Joana is a student who has been dreaming since she was a kid to study in Japan and has planned for it. She could be any one of you. She applied with Gogo Nihon to study in Japan, and then when she understood she couldn't go for the April term, she decided to change the study in Korea. My company has also a service to support who wants to live and study in Korea called Gogo Hanguk. So it was very easy for her to basically through the same service change the destination. Now she's studying in Korea. The article itself has reached hundreds of thousands of Japanese people. We could inform many people in Japan of the unfair situation of students and also the risk that Japan will have to lose leadership as a study abroad and work destination if things don't change very soon. The article has helped massively to raise awareness in Japan. A huge thank you to Joana, to the Gogo Nihon and Gogo Cook team and NHK for their work. Our August event info were also published on the Kogaku Shimbun, which I have it here. The Kogaku Shimbun is sent to over 20,000 universities, vocational schools, Japanese language schools, and ministry-related departments in Japan. More good news on the vaccination side. We have almost reached 60% of vaccinated people already now, which are just at the end of September, 1 month earlier than Japan planned. It's a fantastic result for Japan, considering they start with vaccination really late, just 4 or 5 months ago. The next step is 70% and hopefully 80%. The massive progress of vaccination in Japan has contributed to lower the number of cases. On Thursday, 30th of September, we had only 218 cases in Tokyo, 313 less than last week, and the daily cases in Japan are just a bit more than 1,000 now. We know that Corona is not really going away anytime soon, and there will be other waves in the future, so we hope that Japan will understand they cannot stay closed forever, and it's possible, even now, to safely introduce long-term residents into the country. Even more, because Japan from the 1st of October is removing the state of emergency in all regions, this is one more reason why the government should ease the border measures, since there is no state of emergency anymore. Together with removing the state of emergency, the government has announced also that from Friday, so from the 1st of October, it will shorten the quarantine period from 14 to 10 days for people fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And in some cases, it will allow them to immediately self-isolate at home without staying at the hotel, even when returning from location with a high presence of coronavirus variant. Transport and Health Minister of the G7 countries are due to meet virtually on Thursday to discuss ways to restart international travel. I was so happy to see because it seems to come at the right time for one more extra push. That's exactly what we need. I want also to share my full support, not just to students and workers and families, but also to couples stranded outside Japan sharing this video I found on Twitter. It doesn't need many words, does it? There are still many places in the world where couples and families cannot reunite because of the travel ban. I hope this will end soon. Please check the hashtag #LoveIsNotTourism to support and find out more about the current situation of couples unable to reunite because of the travel ban all over the world. Two more announcements